Hello everyone. In this video, we see that how to deploy two services in ECS with a single load balancer, and we also add the pipeline and the auto scaling group. This is the first part of the video that we see to deploy two services with a single load balancer with the help of Terraform. Here we go. This is a cluster, and this is the name of the cluster dev. Basically, Amazon cluster is a logical grouping of task or a service. Your tasks and services are run on the infrastructure that is registered to a cluster. So here is a cluster. Then we move to the data. Data is an exiting service that are available in the AWS. Before moving to the cluster, first we have to create a data that show in console also. Here is first give the permissions for the ECS task execution role policy. Now move to the Terraform. Here we mention the data, then go with security group. Here the security group, this is security group for ECS cluster, and second is this security group SG2. This is a security group for the load balancer. Now move to then common.tf. Here there will be the load balancer, and here this is a target group. The target group tells about the load balancer where the direct the traffic. When creating a load balancer, you can create one or more listener and configure listener rule to direct the traffic to one. Here this is a listener. The name of the listener LB listener. Basically, a listener is a process that check for connection request using the protocol and the port that you configure. And this is a target group. The name of the target group TG1 hyphen target hyphen group, and we allow the port 80. And this is a listener rule. In this listener rule, here we put the two condition, that is path pattern and the query string. Basically, the listener rules, the rules that you define for your listener, determine how the load balancer route the request to the target in one or more target group. Now come to the VPC. In previous video, we showed that how to create an VPC, what are the subnets and what are the route tables. And now move to then service one. This is task definition. Basically, a task definition is a task within a cluster. After you create a task definition for your application with Amazon ECS, you can specify the number of tasks to run on your cluster, and Amazon ECS run and maintain your task. This is a task definition. This is task, and the name of the task is, and CPU we take 256, memory 512. That is the execution role that we show the data. And this is a container. The name of the container act1 container. This is image that is we push into an ECR. This is our Docker file. We create one Docker file, and there is service, two service. First service in index.html, there is Indian Space Search Organization that we have to show, and the second service is this is Defense Search and Development Organization, and this is single Docker file. And first we push into the ECR, then I show in console also. This is service 1. We have to copy this image URI of service 1, and this is image URI. Then container port is 80. Then ECS services. Act 1 service is the name, and then it cluster. Then a task definition. Launch type we had forget, and then network configuration. Subnet with a public subnet A and public subnet B. Security group that we mentioned here is security group for the forget, and this is the target group. Target group that we mentioned that AG target, TG target, and this container name, Act 1 container, and container port 80. All this will be the service 1, and move to then service 2. Here the name of the task definition task 1, and container name is Act 2 container, that is an image. Then container port 80, then name that Act 2 service, there's ECS service. Then we have subnet, then security group. Here's the target group, the TG1 group, and the container name Act2 container, and the container port is 80. Now this is service 2, and now we write in command. First we write Terraform init, and then Terraform plan, and then Terraform apply. After all this command successful execute, and we move to an console, search for ECS. See, our cluster name is cluster dev. There is two services, Act 1 services, Act 2 services. They're running successfully. Now move to the load balancer. As we mentioned that we deploy two services with a single load balancer. We show you target group also. This is our target group TG1 and TG group and TG1 group. Click on target. See, our both the status will be healthy. Status and second target group, status healthy. Now move to load balancer. First we see about the listener rules. This is listener rules. See, the first will be directed default, and second we put the path pattern slash index.html, and the query string is health and check. Now move to the load balancer. Copy this in its name. tested here. Look that our first services is running successfully. Now we run second services index.html. Now go to check. Look, our second services is also running successfully. So in this video, we shows that how the two services we deploy on ECS and run with a single load balancer. In next video, we see how to create a pipeline and auto scaling group.